Yeah, suddenly, without warning actually, our old friend Moziri, the head of Instagram, came out and told us about the search algorithm. And if you're like 70% of people, you're gonna be like,
what? Search is the thing? Are you bulldozing me, you funky
Yeah, it actually is, and search is becoming more and more important because it just opens another opportunity to get reach, to grow followers, fans, and grow more income, and all of these things that we all strive for. In fact, back on YouTube, which is right here, I started getting my first traction by doing SEO and getting search traffic. And to this day, my friends, for example, if we take a look at the last 28 days, I've had almost 39% of my traffic still come from search, which is something that you just can't neglect. You know, almost 40%, that's almost half of it. Just think about that. Now, is this whole thing gonna be the same impact on Instagram? No, not yet, right? But I have some information. Don't ask me where I have the information from. Could be a lie actually right now that I just made up in my mind, but I think I have some information somewhere where they say, well, we're gonna update this whole search thing and we're gonna make search a way bigger thing in the near future. Anyway, up until now, we only knew that you could make your username optimized to be found easier, right? We kind of all knew that, but apparently that's not all. So let's get into the whole search algorithm, how you can benefit this whole thing the most, get found easier to get more followers, and then we'll talk about, like I just said, some leaks and some updates about the future. So you can actually, once this thing rolls off in full extent, be there and kind of take everything with you because you're already there. You're already search engine optimized. Now, in their blog post and in Moziri's video, they say search ranking is mostly determined by the following things. Firstly, the search term, obviously, and they look at your username, your bio, your captions, which is a very interesting thing and one thing that we actually didn't know up until now. And then they look at hashtags and places. Interesting is though that they say put those things, especially the hashtags, in your caption and not in the comments because otherwise the search engine won't pick up on that. They say include relevant keywords and locations in your bio. Same principle here, make sure your bio includes keywords about who you are, what your profile is about, right? We know that. And if your account is location specific, like for a small business, sharing your location in your bio can make it easier for people in your area to find you, which is a really big thing in my opinion, because a lot of the times if I am somewhere in some other city, I hit up Instagram to try to see, for example, good restaurants with cool pictures where I cannot know what to expect, right? And yeah, obviously I'm gonna search that on Instagram. Obviously a lot of people are gonna do the same. So if you're marketing to a local audience, definitely put in your location and yeah, all these things in there to boost your offline traffic, if you will. Then they look at your general activity, like always. They group you together to try to predict what you specifically actually want to see with a search term. So for example, if you're searching for some sweet buns, depends on who you are, it might give you different results based on your activity on the app. And then they also look at various signals from these accounts mainly, which is why having a clean profile without fake likes, without fake followers, dead followers, helps you a ton, especially when search is going to get more sophisticated in the future. Having ghost followers or having fake followers or participating in weird giveaways or bots or something like this, you might miss out on a lot of traffic and they might shadow ban you in the search, which is a thing they actually love to do. They say, well, we avoid showing you accounts that go against the recommendation guidelines in search results as well, right? And if you remember at first they were like, now the recommendation guidelines, they're just for Explore, but now also for search results, they say, well, we downrank certain content that we think is wrong or that we just don't like. What it is exactly, like I said, we don't really know. You kind of know my opinion about this whole thing. Maybe we're gonna do a separate video about this, but yeah. Just be aware of that. Anyway, speaking about the future, Moziri actually showed us kind of a pre-version that will come out soon on his phone. So here's what it looks like, this whole thing.
But we're also looking to improve search. And to date, search has primarily been a way to navigate Instagram, to find an account or go to a hashtag. But we think there's a lot of amazing content on Instagram that you might want to just browse. So we've been experimenting with what we are internally calling interest search. This isn't yet in every language, but it is expanding as quickly as we can. So I'm going to do a screen grab real quick, which always makes me a little bit nervous.
I understand that.
Of what this experience looks like. So if you go to search and you type something like sushi, as a topic,
their search results.
You'll see some of your results will just have a little magnifying glass on the left. That means that there's actually a whole page to browse, not a specific hashtag or profile.
And this
so
could be interesting.
Sushi, for instance, you'll see a grid of content, photos and videos about sushi, which is a pretty cool idea. And you can search for a range of topics in a range of languages, but we're still working to expand. and we have a lot more work to do.
And the interesting thing about this, even though they say for search, they mostly look at an account-wide setting, if you will, meaning, they look at your niche as an account. With this new Explore style search page, I'm sure they heavily also look at the content itself. The caption, obviously the hashtags, but also the image recognition software that it's rolling through Instagram all day long, which in turn means that it actually might be easier to attract a slightly different or broader audience through the search, because that's what people tell me a lot. They feel like they're confined to this very specific niche and they only get traffic in this very specific niche. And with people being able to, find certain content through search, this might mix this thing up a little bit. We're gonna see. I hope so, because that's actually a big problem that people have. All in all, we're gonna see. I think this whole thing will become broader and more advanced pretty soon. So do it right now. Optimize your profile for search. Really take a look at this. Down there, by the way, I have a training, Instagram Insider, IGinsidersecrets.com, where we also talk about optimization. So, down there, take it and set yourself up for the future. So when this whole thing actually rolls out, you're already there with full force, getting that sweet search traffic. I'll see you soon, my friends. Kisses. Did I just say kisses? Bye. Kisses on the